Hello and welcome to a new edition of After the Whistle, May 26th. I think that's the correct date. It's hot outside, so
yeah, it's the 26th.
26, yeah, and it's hot. I mean, it's hot. It's hot. Some of us need it. Some of us don't. My legs need it though. My feet need it too, man. Things. Yeah, man. We got a lot to talk about. NBA playoff is in full gear, and it's really interesting. What was I doing the other day? No, Todd's here.
Like
one
always.
of the people that needs a 10.
Yeah, I'm entertaining. I'll be outside for an hour and I'll be alright.
I was watching a Bad Blood the other day. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell. I don't know what they was thinking.
Man, wrestling was some of the most entertaining.
Shawn Michaels got his behind whooped in that match.
Oh yeah. Size wise, it's just and
he still won though. So
you know how it goes, bro.
that was Kane's debut.
Oh word.
Yeah, which was hilarious, but it was so hilarious because he's like bloody. Shawn Michaels like the whole match, face covered in blood, can't even walk out the ring. It had to be carried off. Like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
But you know who needs to be carried off the court? Celtics, man. Woo. I knew it was gonna be bad, but jeez Louise, pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I don't know what other people expected from this. Like, you know, the Nets offensive powerhouse. Celtics don't have Brown. Tatum's their main scorer. You know, obviously it's easy to key on one guy.
And he was out.
Yeah, and then it's like, then your role plays really aren't. You don't have a Lou Williams out there. You know what I mean? You don't have a Jamal Crawford come off the bench. So they're just playing hard, trying to stay afloat. But you're not gonna beat the Nets if all five of their starters in double figures. Like, especially when you got three guys that are automatic 60 points as soon as they step on the court.
Yeah, and I always said the biggest beneficiary of having KD, Kyrie, and Harden is Joe Harris, because that man is getting so many wide open looks that he's probably never gotten in his life, and he's a certified shooter, so he's just like, this is easy money for me.
That's the formula to success. They know with those three guys that can do everything with the ball, you need shooters that are consistent shooters that actually knock down shots when needed.
Yeah. And then, you know, another issue with Celtics, we've been talking about it all year is their bench, and we're just looking at the productivity from their bench or lack thereof. There's really none. And their starting lineups really was struggle. I mean, Evan Fournier had a decent game. Marcus Smart had a decent game, but it don't help you gave up 40 points in the first quarter and 71 in the first half. That's just like... And
the Nets shooting 52%, you know what I mean, from the field, and 44, basically 45% from three. Like, not many teams are gonna beat them when they're shooting like that. So it's just like, you know, Celtics fans, just enjoy the little first round playoff matchup, because that's what I told somebody. Don't even waste your time on the bet. Just enjoy the series, because
ain't nothing much to enjoy about this series. This is like a team that's getting fully healthy, and then a team that's just holding on. It's like you're patching it together.
But how mad can you be when you know what to expect?
Oh my gosh,
it's kind of like insanity. Like, you know what's happening, so why even stress yourself out?
Yeah, not even sure if Tatum's gonna play in Game 3 on Friday because he got poked in the eye. I think he sat out the rest of the game.
I haven't watched either one.
Yeah, it was.
People give me updates, you know what I mean, but I don't. Like, I know it's gonna happen. Like,
yeah, Game 1, the first game was entertaining, but
I lied. I watched like the third quarter, but man, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I watched Game 1, the first half, which was competitive, and then, you know, the second half happened, and then this game I came in the second half. I came home in the second half, and I'm just like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. So, I mean, by Sunday this thing's gonna be over. So if they win one game in Boston, I'll be shocked, but. Yeah, this one will be over by Sunday. It's just not looking good for the Celtics right now. And yeah. Another game that was quite entertaining was the Suns and the Lakers. Disclaimer, I tried to stay up for this game. I fell asleep when I fell asleep, it was like 82-84. It was a 2-point game. I woke up, found the Lakers won the game. Anthony Davis stopped. I don't know what was up with him game one. He has these moments. He has these like weird moments every now and then when he just doesn't look like he wants to be out there. Like he got something better to do. And that's what it looked like in game one.
Every series, like one game, like every series, he has like a weird day where he's just having a weird day and just doesn't perform. I don't understand what it is. It might be what he eats that day. It might be off his regimen, but off his routine. But I'm glad he came to play, second game. We knew he was gonna come to play second game. For one, being in LA, they're gonna let you hear it, and him being Anthony Davis and why they brought him there was to help win championships. So. Yeah. But, their formula, you have 4 starters that are over 15 points. They out-rebound the Suns by 8, and they had 6 less turnovers. So, as long as they can, value the ball and I want to say out-rebound them, they definitely shouldn't have a problem because they have way more size anyway.
Yeah, the Suns' issues is they kept turning the ball over in the first half. I think the first quarter, they had like 6 or 8 turnovers, and it was just like dumb turnovers, too. And it also doesn't help that you didn't get much from 3 of your starters. I mean, Ayton and Booker came to play. Chris Paul, we're not even sure if he's 100% with that shoulder. And Crowder and Bridges really didn't do nothing this game. They did a lot in the first game, but they didn't do nothing this game. And then you look at their bench, it's like... and then you look at the Lakers bench didn't do much either, but you got 4 guys in double figures.
Yeah,
and you got 2 guys in double.
But let's be honest, when they was talking about the Suns all year round, they weren't talking about anybody off the bench. They were talking about the main 5. So, they're going to go as far as them 5 are going to bring you. Granted, everybody on that team is professional, but we know who gets put out there to do what.
Yeah, definitely. And with the Lakers, also, back to Anthony Davis, 21 free throws. Yeah. That also lets you know that he was extra aggressive, and also the refs were calling a lot of, little things. The whistles were quick. It was just like, you go like this, it's a foul. So they were doing that.
Understand, the storied franchise that's supposed to overtake the Celtics and chips, they get a little extra help sometimes.
I think I said that a couple weeks ago too on this show that those whistles for some reason always favor the Lakers with sketchy calls. Even in that playing game against the Warriors, they got a lot of but that's the story for another day. This series tied 1-1 now, going back to LA. Drummond had a good game, but if Phoenix if they stuck to what they did in the first game, put Drummond in that high pick and roll and make him switch every time, because he really can't guard anybody. He can't guard nobody, and they were not doing that at all, which blows my mind what the type of game plan they had. But this series probably goes 6 games, because it's these guys. Say what you want about the Suns, they may be young, but these guys are feisty, and we gotta give it up to Ayton too. He's actually stepping up in this one in his first. Him and Booker in their first playoff series, they're stepping up big time for that one. All right, another LA team that's in trouble. The Clippers. Luka's out there, big boying them.
As expected.
I'm still trying to understand why they keep switching Pat Bev on him. What's Luka like 6'8"? Pat Bev's like 6 feet, so they say. I don't understand why I don't understand the switch, because he's a good defender, but he can't defend guys like that. No.
Unfortunately, you can't sit him on the bench the whole game because he gets paid to specialize in a skill, and that's playing defense. So you got to pick your poison, some possessions and some plays. And Dallas is, they're picking their spots. They're making the right decisions. They're getting the right switches and matchups. And, Luka's doing what he's doing. Porzingis is out there doing their thing. Like I said, Dallas had starters in double figures, and LA only had 3 guys in double figures. So that just shows. That just shows you got 4 stars in double figures, and you only had 3 guys on your team in double figures. That's a problem.
That's definitely it. Yeah, definitely. And then you don't, from the rest of the starters, you got what, 14 points from from your other 3 starters. That's unacceptable.
And you got Dallas shooting 59% from the field and 53 from 3. Like, that's another team. They're shooting like that, and Luke is primarily the shooter. Him and Tim Hardaway Jr. So if them 2 is shooting at a high clip like that, good luck.
Yeah, and the thing about Luka too, he's getting to that. He he's getting into that lane. Easily getting into that lane. It's like there's no resistance for him getting to that lane. And you would think the Clippers, with some of the guys they have defensive-wise, it'd be a lot harder for him. But Luka, it's just like, boom, 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 I'm in the lane.
Bro, it's just, with him, it's just way better offense than defense. Because it doesn't matter if you lay off him, he going to shoot in your face. You get on him, he going to go by you. And once that shoulder's by you, like LeBron, once the shoulder's by you, you're not getting around him.
Yeah, and
guys are big men.
One thing about the Clippers is sometimes they really look like they'd rather be somewhere else than on the basketball court. Like they'd rather be doing something.
I mean, they live
else.
in California. Like they already got their money, so I'm sure there's a lot of things they could be doing that's way more fun than the actual job. Unfortunately, playing basketball should be fun all the time, but for some people it's not. And sometimes it's just chemistry. Like Paul George was at his best. We think. When he was with the Pacers, my bad. It looked like he was at his best with the Pacers because he played well with the Clippers in the regular season, but you know how it goes though. But he didn't play bad though. It's just you got to win though.
Yeah, it's not like it was that third quarter that did him in. They gave up 30 points and they only scored 19 points to the Mavericks. And when you see some of the shots the Mavericks get, it's just wide open corner threes and nobody even close to the defender. And Dallas, they got a bunch of shooters on the team. Like that's their thing. When they get going offensively with the shooting, then it's just like, all right, either you keep up or we're gonna blow this thing open. So at one point they were down 10 or 12. So they're down 2-0 now, and it's off to Dallas. So I mean, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, and the Bucks. Another team up 2-0, kind of look like a team that's hitting their stride, and the Heat kind of look like a team that they don't look like the same team from the bubble.
Nah, not at all.
It's like they don't have that same urge or playing with the sense of urgency that they were playing in the bubble.
But it might just be that the Bucks are just better this year than they were last year, so they can't be bullied. They already know what they're going up against, and they had to hear about it all off season, all regular season.
Yeah.
Hear from me, hear from everybody. So they're producing as a team. Giannis had 31, 13, 6, and the bench had 48 points with 4 of the 22.
What 5 threes in the first half.
And Pat, had 15. Portis had 11, and they out-rebounded the Heat by 25 plus. So
this is how I knew it was gonna be a long day for the Heat. The first points of the game was a 3 by Giannis. Giannis's first points is never 3. It's usually a dunk or a layup, and that just got things going. It was the first 2 minutes. It was 15-4, and the Heat just didn't look much engaged in this game. And then trying to play catch up with a team like this that can get out in the open, especially when they get that big lead, then they just start bombs away. I mean, they had 22 3-pointers, which is a franchise record, with three off from the NBA record, but. Damn, that's a lot of things.
They almost matched their point. You know what I mean? It's the same amount of points they had in the first half. They had 78 points in the first half. Ended with 132. They were just on fire, and the Heat didn't help, shooting 29% from 3.
And their main guys were just we're just not it. We're just all out of it. I mean, Bam, Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler. Duncan Rock, none of them were stellar in this game.
Bro, no disrespect, but your main scorer was Dwayne Dedman.
Yeah, you're not winning much game if that's who you're.
And we're not saying that based on your skill set. We're just saying that based on the amount of time you play.
Yeah.
You're the leading scorer, and you got guys that are paid to be the leading scorers on your team. We're not winning the series.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the starters' numbers. The starters combined on 8, 13, 15 for 40 something.
Yeah, I ain't even.
It's 15 for 40.
It was bad.
That was just horrible. But for the Heat, the positive is they're going back home. So it's not, as they say, it's not a series until the home team loses a game. And they're South Beach, and these guys in Milwaukee. The only time they spend in South Beach is either during the games or in the off season. So they could be distracted.
Don't get mad if they drop one. Don't get mad. You got to understand.
And if they drop one and it's bad, it's really bad, the score's really bad, you'll know why. Because they was out there on Ocean Drive.
Away from the cheeseheads.
All right, we got one series. We got a series that's tied up. That is all tied up in the West. The Blazers and the Nuggets. This one, Dame Lillard put on a first half show in Game 2 and 8 3-pointers. I thought he was gonna go for 70, but he ended up cooling down in the second half. But this was another game that took forever. At the third quarter, I swear it felt like it was 3 hours. There were something like 54 fouls called and 4 technical fouls called. I mean, CJ McCollum got a technical or flagrant because a dude, one of them Euro guys, decided to flop, and I'm just like, bro, this is ruining the game right now, making it longer. People want to sleep. It's like, come on, man. But give Denver credit for not.
Yeah, that's one thing the NBA got to take into consideration. We get it. You want your West Coast games to stop prime time, 7 o'clock and all that, but no, we don't get it because you need to go back to doing. You know what I mean? East Coast prime time, because people in California could rush home to a game because we're always rushing home to early games anyways, due to the inconvenience of scheduling to television stations. But with that being said, I'm glad this is a series. And if you notice, the whole theme of the playoffs is full team play.
Yeah.
You know, prior years you had guys that were just killing. You know what I mean? I want to say pushing their team to the finals and all that, but now it's like if your team doesn't come to play as a whole, you're not getting out there with just 2 guys scoring 30, 40 because we've seen that already. And, you know, like I'm going to say, Denver had 6 plays with, you know what I mean, 10 or plus points. And once again, the Blazers only had 3 in double figures. That's not a formula for success. You have to get these guys. If you have to figure out a way to get your team confidence. Mm-hmm. You just have to figure out a way. Layups, free throws, if they're not making jumpers and threes, because you know primarily the game is threes and layups. So if you're not making threes, you got to figure out a way to affect the game.
Yeah, and it was also kind of a little disappointing for Denver. I'm not for Denver, for Portland too, because Carmelo, he only had 5 points after the game he had in Game 1, where he was just torching them down there. It kind of looked like they were satisfied for getting that, stealing the first game and going back home, but Denver exploited some matchups that these guys need to work on, and they definitely need to get a better game from Covington in the next game, because he's got to hit those open shots when he's in it, because he's gonna get them. He's gonna get at least 4 or 5 open shots that he's got to knock down. So those guys need to step up. And Denver, it's good for them that they didn't fall down 2-0 to Portland, because if they did, they would have got swept, because I don't think these dudes are. This year's team is poised to have no type of crazy comeback. And
to be honest though, Portland needs to pass the ball more. They got to set players up, like I said, building confidence, because you got Denver with 29 assists and Portland with 15. Mm-hmm. Usually a team that has almost double the assists of the opposing team usually wins the game. Yeah. Just because you're getting everybody involved.
And this is how Denver's offense was this game. They had 7, 8, 9. They had 9 guys with a positive plus minus. So majority of the guys that came on the court impacted the game in some way, shape, or fashion. And for Portland, it was not that for them. They had a few bench guys that did, but it was not that for the starters. And it was just one of those games where it was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. And once they fell down like double digits, you knew what time it was.
Well, you know Portland, you know their primary guys. Like you can just name it on the top of your head. Denver, you really can't. Yeah. You know their stars, but they have a bunch of guys that contribute every game that come off the bench. So it's like, you know, they got a full squad out there.
So this series is tied 1-1. They're going to Denver. I mean, they're going to Portland for Game 3. Portland's always a hard place to play and to win. So, you know, these 2 teams have had some memorable playoff matchups in the past couple of years. A couple of years ago they had a memorable series. So, so NBA playoffs these games have been really exciting too. These games have been really good. All right. We are going to go, before we get to the more NBA, we're going to go to some high school basketball throwback highlights. This one is 2005 Lynn English Lady Bulldogs versus Salem. So check these highlights out, and then we'll come back and talk some more NBA postseason. And we are back. Make sure to go to LCTV after the whistle to check out some more throwback highlights. We got some going up today and tomorrow. So make sure you go to the Instagram page and check those highlights out. All right, we're going back with some more NBA playoffs. Oh, man. Trae Young shut the Garden up on Sunday. And good because New Yorkers don't know how to act, and they showed once again that they don't know how to act because apparently they were saying F Trae Young before the game or during the game or something. They were chanting that out, and apparently they weren't saying F Trae Young when the game was over.
Hey, you know, fans are entitled, you know. They wasn't saying nothing racial, so, you know, they just, you know, rooting for their team. And he did what he went there to do.
And once again, things that happen in New York. Players have breakout games and have shining moments that outdo the whole team because we could just go back to probably like the 90s and every great player, if you ask a basketball fan what was their like moment or their biggest game, and they'll point out Madison Square Garden, and Trae Young just got his moment, and this is why we don't care about New York City basketball. That's it. Y'all always getting embarrassed. But this was a pretty good game though. Overall this was a good game. Atlanta don't play much defense, but them boys can make some buckets.
Yeah, they can. That's how they got in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, to be honest, I don't see them going too deep in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch much of this at all. I just seen, you know, Trae Young talking crazy to the Knicks fans, which wasn't surprising at all. Like, you already heard me talking about the Knicks already. Like, so, you know, I just want to correct Mukala. Like, we just don't care about New York Knicks basketball because we do respect the Rucker and things like that of New York City. So,
yeah, whatever. Y'all know what I meant. And also, it don't help the Knicks that their best player, Julius Randle, he had a subpar game. 6 of 23 from the field. He just wasn't. I think maybe this is like playoff nerves for him, but he just did not look like himself.
I don't. This might have been. Yeah, and you know you keying in now. You know, game plans is tighter.
Yeah.
Now you got to be a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? A little more detailed with your attack sometimes.
Yeah. But Alex Burks kept them in the game though. I forgot. Granted, Burke's been doing this all season, and I completely forgot about him being on that team. But yeah, the Knicks, I mean, they don't have nothing to hang their heads on because a couple plays here and there, or maybe get a defensive stop, they had a chance to win this game. But it just came down to one team made one more play than the other team. Because right before that, I think Derrick Rose tied it up at 105 with the floater. So it was just one of those games where the Hawks just had one more play than the Knicks did. So,
and I could see how the Knicks can be liked again. You got guys like Derrick Rose on the team, so it's like it's hard to root against Derrick Rose, but we ain't rocking with the Knicks.
And they got mass product knowing so well on the other.
Yeah, man, we try. Yeah, we like people. All the Knicks, we just don't do the blue and green. What's up? My bad, blue and orange.
Blue and orange. I mean, they did have that green.
Yeah,
that green one on
right.
Time.
You're right.
The incredible.
So I guess I had to correct myself.
Oh man, yeah, them jerseys was ugly. Right.
Yeah, they were.
All right, so game 2 is tonight. Actually, game 2 is tonight at the Garden. So we'll see if the Knicks could avoid going down 2-0. A team that a lot of people said probably gonna be the favorites to come out the East. The Sixers looked a little slow. Start off a little slow in this one, but one thing that was consistent was their defense and Joel Embiid, because Joel Embiid this year, he's just been a guy that has been hard to stop, and he's made an emphasis on getting the ball in the post. He's not taking unnecessary threes like he used to. He's dominating the paint, and the Wizards don't got no answer for that. I mean, Beal, he had 33 points, but he took a lot of shots, and Ben Simmons was giving him fits.
I think Embiid had like that issue that a lot of bigs have when they have other skill sets that they're unable to display. And he's like, you know what, I'm in the league first couple of years, never allowed me to do this. Why not? Mm-hmm. Now he's getting critiqued for not winning and not at least bringing his team to the promised land. So now it's like, all right, now it's time to buckle down and start doing what I get paid to do.
Yeah.
And that's being a massive body in the paint getting 1 billion fouls a game,
he got
dunking on people. 13 like just make them call a foul and get one of the closest bigs to a Shaq-ish in size because you're just a massive guy. Yeah. Granted, skill set, you can do a bunch of things, but does your team need that for you? Because who's going to rebound?
Yeah.
So it's just certain things you got to understand.
And with Embiid now, with his game now, he can bully you the back to the basket, or he can face you up and make a jumper. Like, it's really not much you can do. And what I saw from this game, the assists, like he welcomes the double team, and he got a whole bunch of guys that can hit open shots. I mean, Tobias Harris. If your last name's Curry, you're bound. You can't be left wide open. And Danny Green as well too. All those guys, those are knockdown shooters. Then it's like pick your poison. If you're gonna double team Embiid, it's like, all right, these guys will make these shots if you keep giving it to them.
Yeah, when you have Hall of Fame caliber talents on your team, you have to surround them with quality shooters. Mm-hmm. That's the formula to success, as you are seeing.
Yeah, and the Sixers play defense too. They're definitely a good defensive team. So
my whole thing with defense, that's common sense to me. Like, do you want the team to score more points than you? Like, no. So D up. Like, I just don't understand. Do you like somebody scoring on you? Yeah. No. Do you like scoring more on the person that you're covering? Sure. So lock. You know what I mean? Yeah. Lock down, clamp them, and give them 20, 30. Like, I just don't understand how you just let somebody go by you. I'm gonna give you a bucket next. Like, no, we ain't doing this.
Yeah, some people just
try and take your heart out every play.
Yeah, some people just do that matador defense. So they don't even bother. They just like, okay. Whatever, because they more so focus on scoring. But with the Wizards, their two best players can't have 6 turnovers each in this game. You're not, especially on the road. You can't do that on the road in the postseason because turnovers lead to points. And yeah, it was just it was a tough outing. But once again, this team was 34-38. So yeah. All right, and in the snoozer, well, I need to stop disrespecting some of these teams, but this series is definitely a snoozer. The Grizzlies and the Jazz. It was, man.
Yo, you know what's crazy? When I seen it on the what the rundown,
yeah,
I forgot who the Grizzlies was playing. That's so disrespectful to me, just because like the Jazz, they did number 1 seed.
Yeah, the Jazz
they've been the team all year, and I still don't believe in them. And game 1 showed me why.
This game is like a snooze fest, man. I don't really want to watch these two teams. Granted, I mean, the Grizzlies got Ja and all that, but still, it's like, don't nobody want to watch these two teams.
Let's be real, it was great as Stockton and Malone were. You only watched them because they was playing the Bulls.
Yeah. Don't nobody remember any of. I mean, there's probably 2 playoff series that they remember, or 3. The game winner against Houston that sent them to the finals, and then losing to the Bulls 2 years in a row. But
so, like, and it's like, yeah, you really don't care because you don't. I mean, you know the Grizzlies are young, so they're not going to make it through. So you're hoping that they show flashes of greatness. Yeah. Because Brooks is balling, Moran out there balling. So they got some great pieces, and then you got the Jazz, who's been talked about, hyped all year, but never produced in the playoffs since. Yeah. Since what, Hayward was there? Since they had a run in the playoffs with Hayward and them?
A little run, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had... I mean, they lost last year, but, just one of them things, like, you just don't believe in them, so...
Yeah, definitely, and, speaking of... It's like Brooks. Brooks, I just watched them kill the other game. In game 1, it just reminded me of when Coach K got mad at him for killing his team in the tournament. That's what I remember. Oh, y'all remember that?
I'm not sure.
When Oregon beat Duke in the NCAA tournament, I guess Brooks, it was like the game was pretty much over, but the time they had the possession, clock running down, and Brooks shot it and went in. And then Coach K got mad and had something to say about that. Yeah, Coach K got mad at Dylan Brooks, and that was probably one of my favorite NCAA tournaments, because anytime something bad happens to Duke, I just always...
Coach K been getting mad the past couple years about stuff that he didn't really care about, I feel like, back in the day. Just saying.
You know, when you go some years without winning at all, you just start getting frustrated, because I think Yeah, he just frustrated. That's all. Even this year, this past college season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this ain't the Coach K. Dog. I hope this new generation ain't rubbing off on you, brother. We need you to remember you was in the military.
Yeah. Let's go to some youth football highlights. This is from this past weekend. Silverbacks versus Top Gun Academy 12U game. They had an 8U and the 12U. This is the 12U. The 8U, go to the Instagram page. Those highlights are on there too. So, yeah, and we'll be back. We are back. We're going to talk a little NFL news. Ain't really much happening right now in the NFL, except Julio Jones the other day. Cause Julio Jones once out of Atlanta. He was on Undisputed, you know. This is the funniest. This was hilarious. This was hilarious on live TV, on speakerphone. I'm 100% sure he knew he was on live TV, because you just don't just say stuff like that and you just look at the person calling you and the time they're calling you, just like, whatever. But he made it clear he wants out of Atlanta. He said that he's out of there, and there's been rumors that he's interested in playing with Cam, being a receiver for Cam. We've been talking about this all along.
Yo, I could have watched that something about that on the show about Matt Ryan and Julio might as well come with us.
I think you said that.
Because he spent his whole career with this dude.
Yeah, I think you said that.
A couple come on. Ago. But then I seen something on Instagram earlier today, and I seen that man in a Buccaneers uniform. Then I was like, oh, come on, man.
That ain't going to happen. They ain't got the money for him.
I was like, oh, man.
That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen.
I didn't really read it. I just seen it. I'm like, oh, don't tell me they got a chance to get him. Like, well, they just won it. Like, got everybody. But right. I'm hoping he comes to us to be a good fit.
Yeah. It'd definitely be a good fit. And plus, you just throw the ball to him wherever. It could be a good pass or a bad pass. He's going to come down with the pass. So.
And he deserves to get out of there. He's paid his dude. He's like the Kevin Garnett of football.
Yeah. Got them to a Super Bowl.
Once again, been there long enough.
Yeah.
He outlasted, what was it, Rodney White?
Yeah.
Outlasted him. They were supposed to be the top two.
Yeah.
So, like, he's served his time. Grant him his release.
Yeah, apparently they're working on deals. They've been, they said there were reports where the Falcons have been hearing, listening to requests. I think they're asking for, like, a first-round pick.
Well, it's not a request. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, just come to the Pats. You'll know you'll have a chance. You could help Cam Newton actually, have a most improved season. Yeah, because with all them weapons that they've got on offense now, you're not going to get double teamed. And your quarterback's going to throw you the ball in the red zone. So come on down, Julio. Come on down.
It's
Julio.
kind of cold, but you'll like it. You'll like it out
Yeah,
here.
you'll like it. You'll like it. It's not the nightlife scene is not like Atlanta, but
Oh no, it is not.
but I think at this point in your life, you kind of gotta chill out. So, come on. Oh man, we out of control here. All right, plus one interview. This is our first ever hockey reporter that we've had on as a guest here. So
I'm glad.
He's the first talking about the Bruins postseason run that they have. So we have Bruins reporter Evan Marinofsky. Chatted it up and check out the plus one interview. All right, welcome to another edition of the Plus One interview, and today we are joined by Bruins reporter Evan Marinofsky, who's here to talk to us about the only hope we have right now as far as Boston sports is the Bruins. What's going on, man?
Hey, the Celtics haven't been eliminated yet. The Celtics have not been eliminated yet. There's still a 0.01% chance that they go to the second round. So we won't hold out hope for that. But the Bruins are rolling. The Bruins are rolling. But yes, happy to be here.
Yeah, they're definitely rolling. And man, the first three games, talk about cliffhangers, overtime each game. This is one resilient group.
It is, and it was kind of expected in a sense. Just I thought it'd be higher scoring games given the uncertainty in the net for the Capitals, and obviously that ended up being an issue. Samsonov mishandling the puck and letting in those soft goals. But it's funny, every time the Bruins play the Capitals, it is close. And in the past, I remember in that 2012 playoff series, there were a bunch of overtime games. Obviously, I know there are two very different teams on both sides back then, but yeah, this was a series that had overtime written all over it. And obviously it showed itself in those first three games. And just the fact that the Bruins came out of that stretch of games up 2-1 pretty much showed you that they were probably going to win the series.
Yeah, because even after the first game, even though they lost what was 2-1 in overtime, it still looked like they had a chance they could have swept them, honestly, if a few things just went their way in that first game.
Oh yeah, no, and that was the other thing. I think they could have, and I also think there's an argument to be made. The Caps could have been up 2-1 or even 3-0. Like I think that again, you look at, and a lot of people are talking about the Craig Smith overtime winner as the series changing moment, and it was a big moment. But I think the real series changing moment was the Nick Dowd penalty on Charlie McAvoy in the third period of game 3. If you remember, the Capitals were up 2-1 at that point. The Bruins had nothing really going. They were struggling. They were struggling on the power play, especially. And Dowd hooks McAvoy well behind the play, doesn't have the puck, no real reason to do it, puts the Bruins on the power play. They score to make it 2-2, and then Craig Smith wins in overtime. So if that play doesn't happen, there might not even be an overtime. The Caps might be up 2-1. After 3 games. So there were little plays in there that the Capitals could have turned on too. So it was a lot closer, I think, than maybe, the series indicated. But still, obviously resilient effort by the Bruins to win it in 5 games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, good thing you brought that up too, because I completely forgot about that play right there. That was definitely that definitely was a changing point, not even only in the game, in the series as well. But talk about a bonehead move.
Oh yeah, no, it made no sense. And it's like, you're really sending that big of a message. You're up 2-1. It's the middle of the third period. Why would you do that? Like if you're down 3-1 and it's, the end of the third or the second period or something, you want to get the team going, maybe, but it's a hook. It's a hook behind the play. It's kind of cowardly. So I really didn't understand the whole point of it. And obviously the point of it helped the Bruins because they scored on the power play. They scored in overtime. Then they ended up winning the series. So worked out well for them.
And the Bruins defense too, it definitely gotten better as the series went on. Tuukka Rask, he's just, it's been tough to get a goal on him at all in this series. And just talk about the Bruins defense and how in sync that they've been.
Yeah, so that was sort of the biggest question heading into this series, and I think into the playoffs as a whole is, how is a Chara and Krugless defensive core going to play out? How's this going to work? You got Mike Riley in there, but I think you have Matt Grzelcyk's a year older. He looks a lot better. Charlie McAvoy is an official number 1 defenseman, a Norris candidate this year, really tremendous back there. And he was one of the Bruins' best players in this series. Charlie McAvoy was on another level in this series, advanced stats wise, eye test wise. everything. He was good. And Mike Riley held up well. Mike Riley was, a big offensive guy in this series. He was also solid defensively with Brandon Carlo. That pairing, a lot of people had questions about, myself included, and that held up. And then Conor Clifton. Conor Clifton's a big unsung hero of this series. He was dynamite, especially going against the Ovechkin line. And he was getting, in Washington, because the Caps had first change, he was getting a lot of those top matchups and he was killing it. And I think, that's a big boost for the Bruins. I mean, they had Lowe's on it in the first game. Clifton didn't even play in game one, but he's going to be a regular now. He played so well in that series against the Caps. Almost like Clifton saves his best games for the playoffs. And I think that's a respectable thing. Guy saves his best stuff in the playoffs. Might as well do it then. But yeah, I mean, staying in sync, they didn't let the Capitals score a lot of clean goals. They didn't, and again, that also comes down to Rask. Rask played really, really well. Bruins Stats tweeted something that when it came to goals saved above average, Rask got better every game. I think game one was the only one where he was in the negatives. So it's a good sign that things are coming together at the right time, that Rask got hotter as the series went on. He didn't stand on his head in game one and play amazing and then get worse. He only got better. And then, as you said, the 6D back there, which I don't imagine will change much. They'll have to see what the deal is with Kevin Miller. I know he hasn't been on the ice since, but they do have a little bit of a layoff here to see if he might come back. But even with Tenorti and Clifton back there, I think, obviously it's not ideal, but still not too bad.
Yeah, the three guys that I'm looking at just far as like leadership wise and experience wise, Pasternak, Bergeron, and Marchand. They've kind of kept it together. These guys especially in this series, they made a lot of little plays and big plays to just keep this team afloat and just get this thing going even more.
Yeah, they did. And that was the thing. And I think, when you really look at how they just dominated at 5-on-5, even when they weren't scoring, the numbers that are in favor of them were incredible. And I think that was something that played out during the series a bunch. That top line of Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak. And there's also less pressure on them this year. In past playoffs, that's the line that scores. You're looking for them to score every game. But now, because of that second line of Krejci, Hall, and Smith, there's not as much pressure on them to score. They can get shut down. They can not score at all in 2 or 3 games and still be fine. And the team can still be fine. Whereas in past playoffs, that was the issue. But yeah, I mean, Bergeron had an incredible game 5. Pasternak obviously was a little bit shaky the first 2 games. He turned it around quickly. He's the leading point getter for them now. But yeah, I mean, that top line's always tough as nails. I mean, I know their one bad series was that Blues series in the Stanley Cup in 2019. But even when they weren't scoring in the series, it was impressive just how much they were outchancing the Capitals at 5-on-5. The advanced stats were very in their favor. And typically when the advanced stats are high, typically the results start to end up showing. And for guys like Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah. Now, as they've got a nice long layoff before their next series. They're going to face the winners of the Penguins and Islanders matchup in that series. I mean, to talk about that series and those two teams, what are some concerns of those two teams that you have, and what are some of the things the Bruins have to their advantage against either of those teams?
Well, first of all, that's been a really exciting series. The Islanders and Penguins has been awesome to watch. That's a fun one. And that's one that's going to wear each team down. It's funny. You mentioned the layoff being somewhat of maybe a good thing. It was a bad thing in 2019 when I think it was an 11 or 12-day layoff before the Stanley Cup started because they swept the Hurricanes. Yeah. And everyone, it was infamous because they had the scrimmage and Marchand got hurt. But yeah, the Islanders are a tougher team. The Bruins have had less success against them, but it's funny. It's very tight in who you want, whether it be the Islanders or the Penguins, because as I said, the Islanders are, they play a tighter system. They're a little tougher to get scoring chances off of. They're very well coached, solid in net, but they have not been hot. Down the stretch, I think there's something like 7-8-3. Maybe they're 8-8-3 now after the overtime win in Game 5, but not hot at all. And that's something the Bruins are. The Bruins are hot. And I think, if the Bruins were to play the Islanders in a 7-game series, I think they win. I just think it takes longer than 5 games. I think it takes 6 or 7, just because the Islanders are a tough team to play against. That series is going 6 or 7 games, and you're going to be in it for the long haul. The Penguins, on the other hand, are maybe a little bit better on paper. Definitely more high flying. You're going to trade chances. It's going to, that's going to be a high scoring series. They're really good down the middle. You got Crosby, Malkin, and Jeff Carter. But there's also a lot with that team where, you have guys in the back end there like Cody Ceci and Mike Matheson who aren't necessarily that incredible and haven't been great, in their careers, but they've been amazing this year. So is that going to hold up for another series? I don't know. It might not, or it might. So there's a lot, the Bruins could beat the Penguins in 4, or they could lose to them in 7. I don't see, that's and also I didn't even mention this. Tristan Jarry in the Penguins net has been awful in these playoffs. And that's an area that you can exploit. You exploited the goaltending that Washington had, and that was much better than Jarry. So I don't know if this is a super preferable matchup. I think at the end of the day, it's probably the Islanders, just given how high flying the Penguins can be. Yeah. But even if you get the Penguins, you still have Tristan Jarry in net, and you can easily exploit that. So I think the Bruins should win both series, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in whichever team they play.
And we're 10 years. This is like 10 years since their last Stanley Cup championship. So I mean, this could be something. Maybe like this could be that run.
Maybe
the way they're playing. So we never know.
Hey, they couldn't celebrate the 2011 team in person because that was going to be the whole year. They were going to celebrate them before games and stuff with fans there, and it didn't happen as much this year as maybe they would like to have. So maybe they honor the 2011 team by winning a cup exactly 10 years later. Maybe that's it. You might have got it. That might be it.
Just see, look at that. We're breaking stuff right here, man.
Boom.
Evan, man, appreciate it. Also, lastly, tell them if they want to find your work, please let them know where they could go plug your social media and all that great stuff.
So you can follow me on Twitter at @Marinofsky. You can go subscribe to Bruins Rinkside on YouTube. That has everything. Go to the CLNS Media website for all the written stuff. And I think that's it. That's it. Those are the 3 things. It's pretty boom, boom, boom. Simple. I like it.
There we go. And he's also a UMass grad, so
that's true.
We're not going to hold that against him. I'm just telling you. All right, Evan, man, thank you. Thank you once again.
Of course.
Hopefully, as they advance, we'll have you on some more to talk about next series. We're knocking on wood. They're our only hope.
Sounds good. I'll be happy to come back.
All right, you guys have been watching the Plus One interview. Have a great day. All right, thank you, Evan, for that. The Bruins right now are the only postseason hope Boston sports scene has right now. I mean, they're off to the second round. So, and this year will be 10 years since they won their last Stanley Cup. So, maybe this is kind of a sign that's going on. Let's just hope. Let's hope. We ain't gonna tackle Kwame Brown. We don't want him coming at us like he's coming at everybody.
I ain't mad at Kwame Brown, so you ain't gotta come at me.
I ain't mad either, but he hears his name. It's like one of those. He could be far away. He could hear you talking about him.
Yeah, but he did say calm relief, and he's speaking some facts, speaking some truth. So I'm all for it. I listen to both the podcast and I listen to Kwame Brown because they all entertaining. But I heard they pieced it up for the most part.
I don't want no problems with a man who knows what state has waivers for hand-to-hand combat. That is not a man that I want any problems with.
It's funny because people are so shocked that he talks, and I'm like, this is what quiet people sound like. They are hilarious, like they real, like my dad is a mute, so when he starts talking, there's nothing but jokes and trash talking. So in truth, a lot of truth.
and then I've listened to some podcasts and they've told some stories about Kwame and having hands and him and his brother.
I've heard many of those as well.
Apparently they are not to be messed with, and he's country. So that country strength.
I got a lot of relatives.
That country strength is different. It is different. Oh man.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to Kwame Brown, though.
Yeah, for real.
So
he's speaking your truth, brother.
Yeah, he's enjoying the fruits of his labor. All right, let's go around the world of sports. Some awards, some NBA awards. Jordan Clarkson, 6th Man of the Year. Not surprising. I think the Jazz had two guys who were candidates. It was him and Ingles.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
Ingles always balling.
Definitely. Julius Randle, Most Improved Player. Not surprising at all. He had quite like an MVP type season.
He was balling.
Yeah, he
brought the Knicks back.
But yeah, he did, and a lot of people didn't want him to sign with the Knicks.
You'll never hear me say that ever again.
Even Knicks fans didn't want him to sign there, but now look at y'all. Monty Williams, Coach of the Year. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, having a young team like this be the number 2 seed, and especially from where they were last year, how bad they were last year to how good they were this year. Good, kudos to Monty. And Monty, they should have never. Well, actually, they should have. It was time for him to go to New Orleans.
I know what you're saying, though. Yeah. Sometimes they be releasing guys for no reason.
Yeah.
But he had better opportunity, so.
Definitely. All right. I mean, as you talked to Evan about this, the Bruins defeated the Capitals 3-1 in Game 5 to move on to the second round. Patrice Bergeron had 2 goals in that Game 5. They will play the winner of the Islanders and the Penguins. So, congrats to the Bruins on that. It was like the first 3 games of the series went to overtime.
The Capitals, tough team, man. You know, only other team I root for is the Caps, other than the Bruins. So, you know, I'm happy the Bruins pulled it out, but it's sad to watch my guy Ovi lose.
Yeah. Ovi, come on over.
Yeah, come check us out, man.
And baseball, the Braves defeated the Red Sox 3-1. The Red Sox have fought second place in the AL East, so the AL East standings right now through 30-20. The Rays are on top, Tampa Bay Rays. Red Sox are 29-20, and the Yankees are 28-20. So this is gonna be a good race with these 3 teams. So close.
And it's nice out.
That too.
It's in my favor.
It's 90. Some interesting news. These twin brothers, Eamon and Austin Thompson, they're bypassing high school and college. I guess they were going to be seniors in high school. They've signed 2-year contract with Overtime Elite Professional League. So we're seeing a lot of this happening. So they're going straight to pros. I think these leagues are also setting up for them to get their GED or to graduate some type of way. I think they're setting that up too.
They're not graduating from high school?
They're completely bypassing high school and going into that league.
Oh.
This is interesting. Another player, a five-star point guard in the class of 22, he's also skipping senior year, and he signed with the NBA G League Ignite. So.
I mean, I'm all about kids getting their money. One thing I would always say, like, get your diploma, get your high school diploma. Every parent wants to see their kid get a high school diploma.
Yeah.
Every parent knows every kid ain't getting a college degree.
Yeah.
But a high school diploma is something that your parents could honor for the rest of their life. Be proud that you did that. So if you're able to get that, playing in this league, cool. But I don't think it'll be a problem you playing a year later and for passing college to play in this league to get where you want to go.
Plus, the league ain't going nowhere. It's always going to be that. I think somebody always says, like, I forgot who said this, but they were talking about NBA prospects. He's like, you want to come back, you can come back. The NBA is not going anywhere. So,
and it's like, prom is only once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those times are once in a lifetime. So
definitely.
Enjoy them and then forgo your basketball career after. But don't be cutting your high school career short to play basketball.
Yeah.
Lord knows what could happen to you in a year or 2 from now.
Yeah. And I think,
So,
we might be seeing a lot more of this happening, kids bypassing, but it's just like, enjoy high school. This is the best time of best time of your life, and you're a senior.
I'll be honest. If you're an athlete, you shouldn't even be able to bypass high school. They should be like, all right, finish high school, then come and do this. Like, because college is a choice, an option.
Yeah.
Your public education's your right.
Yeah.
So that being said, you should fulfill your right. And then if you choose to go to college, cool. If you choose to go for the money, cool. But
that's like a kid dropping out of high school a couple weeks before graduation, which my class, somebody actually did that.
I mean, I've had some relatives that didn't graduate their senior year. So like, I know, like, and it's unfortunate. But so I just hope these people, if these kids are leaving, they're steering them in the right direction and they're educating them still.
Yeah, definitely.
So they get their paperwork. But if not, like, a lot of these kids to be teenagers at least before they turn 18.
Let them enjoy their youth.
Yeah.
All right. Some boxing news. Remember I was talking about, I kept saying Fury and Wilder was going to fight, and it was apparently Joshua and
It's supposed to be
Joshua and Fury. But in August, that was in August when we were talking about that. So Fury and Wilder are going to be fighting in July 24th.
Okay.
They signed the deal. It's going to be in Vegas, which I find it to be interesting because it's like, okay, Fury has a fight in August, and then in July, like, okay.
I think Wilder did. I can't even say his name right now. Wilder did that because if Fury loses, he loses the title. You know what I mean? So then Tyson got to go through probably somebody else and somebody else to get to Joshua. So I think he wants to regain the title first. Have the chance to regain the title back because he lost the title to Tyson.
Gotcha.
So Fury, I should probably stop saying Tyson. I'm gonna say Fury. Lost the title to Fury, and so I think he's just trying to sneak in there real quick to see if he can get one last go at it.
Yeah, I mean, all right, there's gonna be money made. I think Fury's getting 60% of the pocket, and Wilder's getting 40%.
And Tyson, I mean, Fury got to be. His name is Tyson Fury, so I'm not disrespecting him, but I only know one Tyson.
Yeah, but people might get confused.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Fury, I think Fury he's more than confident in himself because he's taking these 2 fights in a month span. So I think he's like, you know what, I'll use Wilder as an appetizer, and then I'll go for the full course. And that's probably something he would say. So
probably. Probably right. Also, speaking of boxing, they got a Mike Tyson documentary tonight on ABC.
Okay.
It's at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna record it.
It's on ABC.
Yeah.
How censored is it gonna be?
I don't know. It might not be censored.
Yeah, nowadays they just let anything fly on any channel.
I'm gonna record it, so.
All
right. So let's go to some high school news. We forgot to this news. It happened a couple weeks ago, but I think we did it. But if we not, congratulations to Corey and Alvin. Corey, new Lynn Tech basketball head coach. Alvin, new Lynn English basketball head coach. I know Alvin went out for the Lynn classical job, head coach's job last year, but now he's staying right put, moving up the ranks. So congratulations to both of them. It's like
definitely
full circle.
Definitely growing up with them, playing against Alvin in high school and knowing him, what I mean, when we were younger. Like, now it's definitely dope. So congrats to them. I'm glad people stopped asking me about it.
Yeah.
Just leave me the hell alone. Let me focus on what I'm doing.
Definitely. All right, some high school baseball news. Baseball and softball. St. Mary's softball defeated Malden Catholic 12-1. They're 10-2 on the season. They're playing Bishop Feehan on Saturday. Them girls, they be putting up runs. Them St. Mary's.
Yeah, they be playing some teams I've never heard of too. Like Bishop who?
Yeah, they had like 17 runs in one
Bishop
game.
Feehan? Yeah, we never played them.
Yeah. St. Mary's baseball, they lost to Masco 5-2. Their record is now 6-5. The next game is also against Bishop Feehan. Then Tech baseball, they're 1-4 after their 2-0 loss to Mystic Valley. English softball 1-1. They defeated Chelsea 16-4. They're playing at Chelsea today. So by the time this is over, this airs, the game will probably be over. English baseball, they opened their season with a 17-0 victory over Chelsea as well. They're playing Malden today. It's a home game. Classical soccer defeated Somerville 13-0. They're hosting Chelsea today at 4. And classical baseball defeated Somerville 12-4. And they're open and they visit Chelsea today at 4 p.m. Let's go to top 10 and then we're going to wrap this thing up. All right, and we are back at it. All right, we have come to an end. Some good news. June 7th, we will be opening back up to the public. So yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back in the studio soon. So we got new studio stuff. We got new studio cameras, and we got new stuff that we have to mess around with and get used to before we could actually do the show in the studio, because we can't just go in there and do a show and nobody knows all the switching stuff. But pretty soon, in the next couple weeks, maybe next week if things go full, but if not, probably the week after, we will be back in the studio. So be sure to check us out, and you'll like it. We'll be like in 4K too, in HD.
I mean, I think they had enough of the living room.
Yeah, they have.
You know what I mean?
I've had enough of
in the other room. So I think they like the green screen. They missed the effects in the studio presence that we had, the tables and all that, and the lighting. You know.
Yeah.
So I think they just missed that feel, because we missed the feel.
Yeah.
And I'm getting sick of people talking about, like, they're asking me, like, it's just like a regular podcast. I'm like, nah, it's a podcast / TV show. We be in the studio. We just don't be in somebody's bathroom or garage or basement or living room. So, but they think that's the case because of the COVID situation. So y'all gonna find out.
Stop asking questions. Follow him, Mr. Burton 23 on Instagram, Mukala K on Instagram, LCTV after the whistle on Instagram, and yeah, go to the website. You know the website, lyntv.org and all that good stuff. We are out of here. It's hot. Happy Memorial Day. Celebrate safely. Peace.